Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hope everyone's having a good weekend, having a good Sunday. Let's jump into the markets and let's take a look at how things are going to start the week. It's pretty bullish action. Does not look like flat. I don't see any scary news. So it's looking more and more likely we're going to get an extension, right? And we'll just wait and see. It's still early, and futures don't really mean a lot to me. But the bears need a big sell-off. They need a big sell-off like now, like Monday, because as this continues to push higher, it's just going to accelerate and it's going to squeeze, and it's just going to create its own environment that's going to enable it to go even higher. But there's a situation where they could rug pull it. I think they tried to do that Friday afternoon and drop it in a flat and then create something more bearish, but they're running out of time. Okay, we're running out of time. There's just too much liquidity coming in, and there's too much volume, and it appears large institutions are buying the dip, and there's no way you have the firepower to overcome that. That's retail can't overcome that. So perhaps the market would have went down. We should have went down, but there's too much buying. There's too much buying pressure across the market. And like I mentioned before, why would that be the case? Because remember, the institutions missed the rally. They sold this. They didn't believe in they were afraid of tariffs, so they sold it. And then retail bought the dip. And they've been pretty much on the sidelines throughout this. And in some cases even short, not the institutions, but the large commercial traders and non-commercial. Though that data is available. It's on my X feed if you want to read it. It may not be accurate as of now, but it was when I posted it. Those people cannot have the year end and send to their clients, a printout that says we did not make any money in 2025 because we were on the sidelines. And especially if we continue higher like this, they'll be fired. They'll lose their clients. They'll be fired, out of business, and even the institutions are accountable to somebody. Maybe it's the politicians that run them, who knows? But everybody has a boss, and nobody wants. Now people are afraid that, oh my goodness, if we don't get this pullback, we're going to go into the end of the year, and I'm going to look like an idiot. I'm supposed to be smart money, and I'm dumb money. Retail was supposed to be dumb money, but they were smart, so they can't allow that. So that's what's coming in, guys. That's the buy in the dip. Those guys are coming in. So that's what's happening. Because I think they got to get positioned for the end of the year. So maybe it's the seasonality is just coming a little early than we normally see. But anyway, here it is, green, Bitcoin. This price action on Bitcoin straight up, and essentially going through this high with almost no resistance. I mean, essentially, with like just a little bit. That's a typical wave 3 like personality. Okay, and if we are in wave 3, I would expect that. Now the next wave, if we get another move, will be even more, more extreme than that. So it'd probably be a gap up of some kind, just boom, and you can't, and you're just not going to be able to catch that. You're going to have to chase, and that's why we've been telling our members not to time the market, not to trade in and out, not to not to do anything but hold. And holding is the right call, and that's been the right call. Unfortunately, a lot of traders though have not done that. They've either tried to think they could time the market, they believe bearish, forecasts, or they were afraid to hold the profit that they may have had from April, or they just didn't get in the rally and they don't have a good entry and they just can't get visibility to where to go in. So there's a lot of reasons why. This situation is developing the way it is, but obviously more people are short than long to get this kind of reaction. So if you're following me and you're long and you held, you're in probably rare company with just the pros right now. And I've retweeted those pros. Those pros have been around since way before they're 2016, 2015 traders, guys, in the crypto universe. And they easily time these cycles. Like, these are pros, and they're all long, and they're all expecting it. Anybody else you're going against, a lot of intellectual horsepower around the crypto community if you were trying to short this top, which I was not recommended. So here we are, we're going higher, and then my system, of course, is showing this sequence. And palladium looking good. Metals, guys, you need to get the metals while you can. Of course, they're going to pull back at some point. They can't go up forever. They're going to pull back maybe like this, but that may be the last chance you have to buy them in this price range, like ever. Like I don't think people recognize the shift in the way trading is going to be in the future versus where it is, what it's been in the past. There's going to be a whole new paradigm of type of trading, and it's all going to be ruled by the metals and commodities and scarcity of these metals. And we already are hearing it in copper. The fundamental analysis from what I read is we may run out of copper soon. Like no more copper. There's no more. Like, so what do you, I mean, people are going to be scrapping, going through old scrap, electronics, and they got to start opening up new mines, and they don't have that. They don't have any of that. So, I mean, these metals are going to go. People are going to panic buy, not out of just greed, but also a necessity. The industries that need these metals, they're probably like going to think, oh crap, I got to procure what I need to build what I need. And that's going to drive up demand. And they're going to have to, and it's going to be a chase, and it's going to be a proof. So get the metals while you can. Get the metals while you can. Because that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. And what gold is telling you, something different is, we're in a whole new world. And then my tell is silver, though. My sell is silver, not gold. Even though gold you can, I mean, this is unusual. But silver, to me, is once we break the all-time highs, we are in a whole new era of trading in a whole new monetary environment that we haven't seen. And we'll go back to the 70 type trade. I think we'll go back to the 70s type trading. Big sideways movement in the indices on on much larger scale than you would think, and wild swings. And then of course the metals and commodities have a super cycle degree, and that's what they're telling us. Even oil eventually will do that, and again, we're still a little iffy on our count on oil. So the market is in this I think this final melt up mode, and I keep saying melt up to super pump to super crash. And that's kind of where we're going with it, and that's where I'm going with it for now. Still, a super melt up into a super melt up, no crash to me is hyperinflation, and people have lost confidence in our financial system, and they're going into an alternative asset, which would probably be Bitcoin, as well as hard assets, metals. The psychology of the world markets. That's what's gonna. That's the only scenario I can think of where everything just goes higher. So what I think would happen is the commodities would run and everything, and we get a more of a stagflation trade, which is probably where we'll end up. Okay, so let's go to your requests. And guys, if you're interested in my analysis, $5, you get it, and you can hear every night I post an update. It's not that expensive, I think, for the value you get for $5, honestly. But for some reason, people still have a hard time shelling out that money. But I think they're happy. My members are happy that have done that. All right, so let's see. We need to start with the symbol we are starting with tonight is NU. So let's go find it, and I'll get through these. And like I always am able to prepare ahead of time, so this will help me go faster. NU. Looking for a little more upside. We don't have a lot of data. I still think it's still going to see a bigger move higher. Someone could say it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Based on what I've looked at in the RSI, I don't think that's the case. So I think you just stay long, so you could finish this this cycle here, which should finish up, and then maybe you can even get another pullback. Let me draw this a little bit differently. And you could get another pullback from here and then have the big run. Albemarle is in our buy area. It's been languishing in the box. It's finally turned, and it obviously made a higher high here out of this pullback. So we should see a breakout, and that's probably entering a new a new super cycle degree bull market. And again, what do these guys do? They're a chemical specialty company, but I believe they're tied to lithium, if I remember right. Let me see what these guys are doing here. I thought it was lithium. Yeah, they've got a tie to lithium, but they've got a bunch of other stuff. So, so it's kind of like specialty products, but it's got lithium compounds, lithium carbonate, lithium. So it's lithium. It's a play. I always looked at this as a play on lithium. Okay. We did hit the long-term trend line. So if you're a long-term investor, you've got years and possibly decades of gains ahead of you. You could just buy it right now. If you're a long-term investor, you should just buy it right now. Like, who cares? 88, 71, who cares when it's trading at 400, 500 or higher in maybe 5 or 6 years from now? You're not going to care. So if your view is long-term, you're a buyer of Albemarle right now. If your view is a short-term trader, you should get more continuation in this cycle. Now we have, I think you'll get some resistance here of some kind, and then a pullback, and then we'll probably get a bigger breakout. ACLS pushing up in 5 waves. Now ACLS hit our box and went vertical, and now it's only in 3 though. And as you know, it can be corrective. Corrective moves are only in 3 waves. So there's no guarantee of a 4 or 5 off of a major low. It could double correct. So you always have to prepare for that. You always have to make sure you understand that this could go down and double correct. What we're starting to see in the last, I would say, 12 months, more than I've seen. Now, I would say we used to see a lot of expanded flats. We still see that. But now what we're seeing is double corrections in a 3-wave nature, just running the stops, but like plummeting, but not giving you the full extension. So what we're starting to see in the market is the market makers manipulate these stocks to run your stops, but technically it's still a valid correction within my system because it erases divergence. So what happens is we bounce in 3, and then it gives you like this small corrective like crash just to run your stop, and then it moons. Now normally we would see a bigger extension, but we've been seeing this more and more. So what that means is you may want to have a lower stop, or understand like that situation, and then if it bounces and it erases divergence, and just go long and just flip back in. I've done it a couple times and flipped back in and then made a lot of money. So it's like they play these games, and so I'm seeing that more and more. So that seems to be a new feature of the market, and we have to adapt our system to the new features that these new schemes that come in. Because I think the market makers are probably getting wise. They're probably like, okay, so they're going to do this, and okay, so what we're going to do is we're not going to let him. We're just going to run that and then run it out. But to do that, they got to crash it to get through those stops. So they got to really create that momentum. So we get this we get a truncated Y that looks very asymmetrical, right? It's not an expanded flat. It's a triple. It's a double correction in 3s. So you just got to understand that is something we're starting to see more and more of. Okay, and we may have to lower, not be so tight, or just recognize these traps. Is this trap? Because normally, if we double correct, we would probably see a bigger move, and it would take more time. But we're not seeing that, so watch for that. But for right now, I think it's just a 4. We need a 4 and a 5, and I think we may get that. I don't know if it's not guaranteed, right? It's not guaranteed to get the 4 and the 5, but we may get that on Monday. And then once you do, then the low is in, and then of course you can get a pullback and then continuation higher, which is what we expect. All right. LAAC. Let's go to LAAC real quick here. Take a look. Make sure I'm seeing everybody. Just kind of scanning the comments, making sure I'm reading everyone's posts okay here. Let's take a look here. All right, let's just kind of going back. So I'll make sure I'm getting everybody's posts. All right. All right, LIC. LIC is coming out of a box and looks like it's going to extend. And I would expect a 5 here, maybe finishing soon, another pullback and more upside. And we know that these cycles can just continue in 3 waves in perpetuity. It could just keep going, right? And just keep going and going and going. So, you know, this was the buy area. If you're long from this area, you would just stay long. This is a thematic emergent theme. I think it would become even more important when oil finally recovers, which could be several years from now. So this trade may take a few years to really develop and base. So we still could see some sloppy sideways to sideways action, accumulation action. And then maybe later in the decade it has its big breakout like gold and silver are now. So I think you got to have a bigger view in mind, because I usually like to see lithium run when oil runs, because then it's like, oh, we got to get into the EVs again. Ooh, that gas price is going up. And yeah, unfortunately, guys, I mean, oil's going to be at $200 and plus a barrel, at some point before its major cycle ends. So, enjoy the low oil prices while you have it. Think about if you've been interested in an electric vehicle, get them while the get-in's good, because I think when oil starts to really do that moon shoot, you're not going to be able to find them, and I think they're going to be markups on those because everyone's going to want them again, and no one's going to want the gas guzzler. This is the same cycle. We're already seeing solar turn, that whole industry now. Solar's turning for the energy around AI, but also it has a play on, on the green trade. I call it the green trade, and as energy in general. Because if oil goes up, natural gas will usually rise with it too, and solar's an alternative to that. Natural gas. So here it is. This is lithium. You saw Albemarle. There's no reason why you shouldn't be long. I have no idea why anyone would want to short these 2 stocks. God help me if you are. You probably definitely need my help. If you're thinking of shorting these, you need to subscribe to me like tonight. You need my help bad. Okay. Next is NB. Let your winners ride. All right, NB. Again, coming off this wave, we're still looking for more upside. But it does look like this Y should be coming to an end soon. Now, on the daily cycle, you see how we have no divergence there, and we're taking out all those peaks. So this could end at any moment. That's how typically a Y wave ends. So it's hard to say exactly when, but it could end at any moment, and you could get a bigger consolidation. How long? It would be longer than that consolidation and more complex, but then it's even more upside. So I would expect that would be a viable opportunity. Looking at this, it looks like to me it can end at any moment. Plug is pushing higher. We kind of forecasted this breakout. Continued just updating the impulse. We should, looking for a 4 and a 5. And of course, like we've said multiple times, we may not get the 4 and 5. So this can be corrective. So when this 3 ends, it could go all the way back down. That would probably mean Plug Power is going bankrupt, guys. It's got to be, or it's going to be reverse splits and issuing, somehow maybe it can save itself. But I think this company was like on the verge of bankruptcy. Maybe it saved itself, or I think maybe got some favorable policies. I'm not sure the fundamental reason, but we want to see the 4 and 5 to confirm the low. If that low is in, that's a major cycle low. Okay, and again, it's telling you what's the future's coming. Hydrogen. Why would hydrogen be any important in the future? Because energy is going to be expensive, and we're going to need other alternative fuels, and these guys are going to be looked at just like EVs and just like solar. That's what this is telling you, guys. This is telling you if we make 5 waves, it's telling you it's time to get ready now. It's time to prepare now for the future, right? That's what it's saying. It's saying a cycle has ended and a new cycle is coming into being born right in front of you. And again, It may make a series of big ones and twos that last several years before you really get the move. But this is, once we make 5, it's kind of saying a new bull market is born in this sector. Because let's just face it, Plug Power is the hydrogen sector. I mean, that's what these guys do. They're the big, U.S. player here. And so this is it. So this is an important moment. But I can't. I wish I knew where it was going to go. I just don't know. I think I need a 4 and a 5. So, you'll have to decide how you want to trade that. But that's the chart. GSK. This one was tough because there's no way. I looked at this many different ways, and I come to the same conclusion. A big extended 5th wave. Okay. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. In a big extended 5th wave. I just can't come to any other count that works for me. So the good news is it can still go a little higher. The bad news is something very bad is about to happen to these guys. I don't know what it is fundamentally, but whenever we get to that box, something's could go very wrong. Maybe a drug they're pursuing fails. Maybe litigation emerges on something that they love and they've been selling a lot of, or just maybe the market, they just is susceptible to the market cycle. But whatever it is, I looked at this for a long time, but I come to the same chart every time I look at it. So there's your chart. So unless it can explode in a risk divergence in this final, it's in a very dangerous moment in time. It's a very dangerous moment in time for it. And you can see the compression here. Okay. I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, quadruple divergence on the monthly, quadruple divergence. And now you're starting to see the RSI start to compress. Maybe it can come up, but at some point something's going to go wrong, I think. And then the quarterly looks even worse. See that? You see that? So I think I have to just say what I see. I mean, I wish it was different. But I wouldn't, if I don't know, if I was a long-term investor in it, it may be time to rotate into something else like lithium. Maybe it's time to sell some of this and buy some lithium. Go buy some palladium or something. I think that's probably what I would do. All right, Verizon, and that's not financial advice, guys. Like I always say, do what's best for you. Verizon could be in a setup for a dip buy here at 41.31. Still expected more upside. What does that mean? Maybe interest rates are going to fall a little bit more because these tend to go better. Rising with a lower rate environment, dividend paying stocks do better. But we have it as a 5 on the grand super cycle, I think. Yeah, on the grand super cycle. So again, we know the indices grand super cycle is probably coming to an end, and this is probably part of the story. And then we may be looking at 22 over a period of several years or more. So, but yeah, I think it's still viable, and I think it's got a little dip buy opportunity emerging for maybe some easy money on this breakout. And if you're lucky, it can extend and keep going. So this is I can't guarantee you a 5. What we can guarantee you, I think you'll break out of this. Looks like an inverse head and shoulders continuation pattern, and then if you could probably break 60, then this will become another 1-2, and the market will extend and everyone's happy for another 5 or 6 years. Okay, and then Viking is when I look at the sequence, it looks like it's missing one more swing down. And now this is tricky because we've already had 3 big waves, and we hit a box, and we hit the historic trend line they has. So that could be 2, but we only came up in 3. And so I'm showing that we could double correct, and this move down was really sharp, okay, in a 3-wave setup. So I suspect we're going to get another leg lower and we're going to break this low. But remember what I said, the market makers love to just run the stops on you just to, I bet this will be a candidate for something like that, right? You would normally expect basically a go to zero, and it could still, but I suspect they're going to try to run these stops and do it by race and divergence. They tried it here, but it was too high. So they're going to, and they may run it up again a little bit more, and then they're going to try. And then you'll have to make a decision. You could try to buy it at 1346. I think that may be too low. It's going to be tough to time it. You're just going to have to stick your neck out if you want to buy it. But understand, personally for me, buying this here, your stop loss has to be zero. You have to be basically zero. So because we all know if the data is no good, this thing's going to be it's not going to be worth anything. But if the data works out and their pill is good, I mean, yeah, this thing's going to go into this upper box. So, I mean, we know that that's what has to happen, but the path to get there could be this is the path, because they don't want you to make money. They want your capital. They want your hard-earned money. The market makers, the big funds, they don't want you making that easy money. So they're going to try to. I think they're going to try to shake you out here, and then all of a sudden, happy talk will emerge. Some big press release, and their weight loss pill is a miracle. Oh my God! And everyone's losing weight, and then it's going to go like that. And then your stops are going to be run, and you're going to be sad, and you're going to be like, oh damn those guys, and it'll be up from here like 40% or something, and you have to chase it at 40. This is what I think is going to happen here. Okay, the next stock is DPro. Well, actually, before I go, I had a question. Is a much deeper correction on SPY to 560 no longer possible? It's still possible, but after Friday, it's less likely. Not a lot less likely, but less likely. I give it 25% chance, 25% right now. Going into before Friday, I would say 35, 40%, but I'm thinking 25%. It's looking less likely because when you look at the Dow on the 4 hour, it's a race divergence. But barely, okay, barely. It's barely erased the 4 hour divergence right here. You can see it. It's there, and you can look at it yourself. It erased it. What that means, if I want to be super, super anal and orthodox with my system, I would label that as a 1-2-1-2, and I would be putting out videos that say we're going to the moon, guys, and it's clear skies ahead. Buy the dip now. And all sorts of crap. That's what I would be doing right now. So this chart shows that. But I'm not going to be that foolish with just a little break. I mean, come on. We need to see more follow through. Now, are we getting that tonight? Yeah. Tomorrow, let's see. If we're up another 400 points tomorrow in the Dow, then I would say that 570 and 560 is a pipe dream. That ain't happening until the grand super cycle ends. And none of that's going to happen, and that means we're going to get the run into the end of the year. Right. So I think tomorrow and Tuesday are very important for the bear case. I really do technically think Monday and Tuesday is a super important day for the bear case, because if the bear case needs to start to develop a little bit, if not, the momentum is going to build on itself. The bull, that's what they call it, a stampede, a bull, like to squeeze. It's just going to keep going. So the sellers have to step up tomorrow. They have to. So maybe that question needs to be asked on Tuesday. But for right now, yes, is it possible? It is. And why is it possible? Because you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if this is a 5 in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that count, which would mirror, obviously they all trade together, it would drop, and you could get to those targets, those super bearish targets. So yes, it's not impossible. I just don't think it's likely. In Friday, weakened the bear case a little bit. Now, if we would have closed on the highs, I would have said it would have strongly weakened the case. But now it's a little bit because they did fade that. But not all of it. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Can we get a 5? Can we get a 1-2-1-2? Or will the bears turn into a flat? Right? What are they going to do? What is it going to happen? Because it's got to happen now. Because if we keep extending, it's too late. It's gonna the cork is gonna be popped, and it's just gonna and that's what's gonna happen, guys. And that's why we always preached, my members, the people who pay $5, or even my elite members who do pay $50 a month, and I know they get the value out of it because they wouldn't pay it if they didn't. And I don't get a lot of people leave my service. We've been saying buy in 3 waves. Do not try to time the market at this point in time. That time will come later. Right now it's buy the dip mode. We all love buy the dip mode, right? We all love it. Buy the dip mode. It's easy. But you have to buy it in a 3-wave move. So if the bear case develops, let's say this makes it 5 and we crash and it's, oh my God, and Tuesday is a big meltdown. So that's probably where what time. It'll probably be like Tuesday. Like we make the 5 on tomorrow, and we start to fade. And then Tuesday, it's like heavy selling, and that's it. So if that happens, what are we going to do? We're going to buy in the dip, right? We're going to rotate into big cap tech, right? And our members will know what to buy. And that will be a gift, because if people are dumb enough to sell it, we'll be happy to take it off their hands, right? And I'm sure the institutions will as well. And they'll be very happy to take that off your hands if that's what, and so have some cash ready for the bear case. Just have some ready. But I wouldn't, that's the strategy that I would recommend. And I've been recommending to people, for a while now. And we're just going to keep doing that. Okay, the next question is D-Pro. I don't know what you mean about unexpected volatility. I think maybe the pump was unexpected, but now it makes a lot of sense, right? Because it's part of the drone theme. Drones is a big theme. It's thematic. The market loves these themes, and they're running. And right now, drones is the theme, right? With you have quantum and everything else, but drones is, I wouldn't say emergent theme. It's a theme that's maybe 30-40% through its run. It's got more to go. So D-Pro, we don't have chart, again, we don't have any, where's your chart resistance? Where are we trading? Here. I mean, I don't see any chart resistance. I mean, that's nothing. That's your chart resistance. Guys, I've been trading for so long. I don't need to label this. I can just look at this and go, your supply is here. This is where it's going to head. It's going to head here. How it gets there, who cares? I don't know. 3, 4s, wake up tomorrow. But this is where it's going. And then I think it's going to have trouble here. It should have trouble here. Now, IREN didn't. IREN did not. It hit the first area like this, and it just blew through it. So maybe, so again, I wouldn't think would time the market, but I would expect, okay, it's going to find some resistance here, and if it can get through it, well then, again, where are we going? Where are we going with it? Maybe 32, right? And then we're looking at major resistance. Now this is major resistance, 49, 50. No way it gets through that. No way. So I think it's going to go higher. I think 50 is an extreme pump target, but I think 20 is kind of a safe bet in this count. And we've just been trading with it. Just been trading with it, and yeah, there was some gap up, some Army contract. Someone said they use NVIDIA's AI technology. Someone said you can validate that. I mean, the person who told me, I believe them. This is someone I trust. Said that they use AI. They're using NVIDIA AI technology in their drone, which is probably why the Army contracted with them. This is probably the most sophisticated, type of technology out there. And their market cap is not where the others are. So guess what? It's probably going to go to where the others are, because no one's heard of them until now. So as more research comes on, and people will continue to buy it. If it has a contract with the Army, and you got Elon Musk saying drone warfare is the next big thing. You got CNBC Friday pumping drones. Everyone's going to be going into drones, guys. I mean, everyone's going into drones. So the D-Pro should just continue higher. So this little 3-wave dip, that was a great opportunity to buy the trend right here on Friday. If you guys took it, if you were looking for an entry, you had one right here on Friday. HIMS is cut up in a flat, it looks like. Looks like we have a flat. And just thinking of where the target could be, maybe 48, 47, right? Is it the shortest? I don't have time to measure it. I don't want to be too anal. I mean, maybe maybe it's the short. If it's the shortest, it won't work. But I think like from an R side perspective, I like this, and we'll just go with that. that's the most important low though. That 40, it's got to hold the bull case. So yeah, I think it got hit by some news with Novo getting a contract with Costco, and not them, because remember they had I guess they had a falling out. They were gonna, but maybe they'll work with Lilly. Oh my God, do you know how high this would go if that happens? So I don't know. We don't know, but whatever news will emerge here will be pretty damn bullish. So it's still a head scratcher to me why people want to buy this, unless the insiders know and we just don't know. But the chart is giving us the clue that somebody wants to keep accumulating it. So maybe somebody knows something we don't know. MIGI, MIGI is, and I'll go back to Hive. I forgot, I skipped over Hive, but I'll go back to it. MIGI hit our sell zone, right? We expected this kind of rejection, but when I look at the wave count, it looks like it can make one more high still in the zone. So it's got to get, it's going to have to overcome this, and it's got to break 105 to negate this view. Until then it is susceptible to, what you see on the screen. Either goodbye MIGI, it goes into the dustbins of history, or a reverse split. And we trade penny stocks all the time on this channel. We see things reverse split for decades, and this may be another reverse split for the next 10-year company go to zero. This may be a go to zero chart, right? So I'm not sure why anyone would want to buy it anymore, but I mean, I wouldn't have an emotional attachment to this. There's so many other things to trade, but I do think it's at a very big danger here of a reversal. Let's go back to Hive real quick. I thought I added that down here. Hive, your question is, can we get to 330? I think it's still possible. I'm showing you a path that gets there. This is a more conservative look, okay, at where we could go. When we make this 5, it could obviously pull back, because we'll be correcting this whole wave. So it could come easily back to 350 before we break out even higher. So this is the conservative view. So I would say this is possible. I looked at RSI, and I'm torn between either a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 or this. So again, maybe you can ask me on Tuesday and we'll be different. Because if it's a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, we're going to gap up. Maybe even tomorrow we'll gap up and go. And then this is not this chart. So I think we need another day or two of trading data to really confirm. So I would say, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Okay. I just think it's not likely. Maybe 20% chance it happens if you want to, 20, not even 1 in 4. I think 1 in 5. 1 in 5 chance it can do that. This pullback, and again, this pullback would have to be deep to get there. This pullback could be shallow and still pull back and not get there. So, all right, let's go back to where we left off. Indo. So Indo's, I know, a favorite of our channels. We've made a lot of good money on Indo. We've made a lot of good money. All right. And I believe Indo will make people a lot of money in the future if we get the timing right. Unfortunately, time is almost out here on this pattern. So I think tomorrow, it's like do or die, like tomorrow. Now, maybe we can make this one more dip to 295, respect the low here at 290, but it's a decision time, right? It's decision time, okay? And if you're like, well, if crude is going to go down, how can this happen? It makes no sense. Well, 1, it's small cap. 2, it's international. 3, it has a war, feature because it's non-Middle East. So it's got other things. But then let's take a look at what crude oil is doing tonight, and it's up. Like I said, I have a forecast in this connector with this counter trend too. But if this evolves into something more bullish and takes out 66, well then energy's running, guys, and you better go fill up your cars, go outside, because that's a run to 100. That's going to open up $100 a barrel. So, and you would expect Indo would do really well in that environment, right? Indo should run. So it is kind of, that's why I like to not try to play the market like chess. Just trade the chart on its own. Indo's chart shows a very bullish setup going into the next 24 to 48 hours. It does. Last time I chose setups like this, like Tilray is up 60% tomorrow. I don't know. Could it be up 60% tomorrow? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it could, and it very well could be. I don't know. The point I'm trying to make is I don't want to sell it. So let me go find where we left off here. Let's keep going. Okay. So the point is I don't want to sell it. We have 5 off the low, and this looks like. I mean, is that a bear flag? That doesn't look like a bear. It looks like accumulation of some kind. So we're just trying to time it. And again, it could develop into other counts and features, but you really need to be playing the long game on this. If you're looking for the quick pump, I think all these wicks represented traders looking for a quick pump and losing their money on theta, and they're going to give up. And then the day you give up is the day it's going to move. You're just going to have to play the long game on this. I know everyone hope, but it's trying to test your conviction, and it wants you out of that trade. So it wants you out of that trade before the markup. So it's pretty big, pretty good setup for me looking at it as of now. But the most important low, I think, in my opinion, is this low 211. That has to hold. All right, let's keep going. Ryan has a few questions. Open. Let's go back here. Open SP. I guess I missed that one. Let me type that one in there. I do have open. So open is one that we kind of keep an eye on for elite members. And open was a live stream winner for us because maybe it was you, Ryan. I don't remember, but somebody asked me about open back here. And see, this was an example of the market makers running that stop on you. Look at this, guys. See how they ran that stop and they finished a 3-wave correction, a race and divergence. Most people would have expected that leg to go a little deeper. But when we looked at it and then we saw the reaction, right, I called that low was in. And I did call that on my live stream, said the low was in. Here, I said it was done. And then I expected another move higher. Now, what happened after that, I don't know. But I did expect that W to be exceeded. And sure enough was. It was beyond, my wild imagination. It caught fever. But our live stream caught it. So where are we? We looked at this last time on my live stream, and we said we were jammed up in the connector, the middle area. And for some reason, traders love to trade the middle area. Middle area is an area of the market that isn't trending. God knows why traders love to trade that area, but they do. And I think you're going to get another swing higher like this and see. But then after that, I wish I knew, because I would buy it, if I knew. I mean, if I knew, we would be buying. I would be telling everyone. But I think it could double correct and do what we just saw, a repeat, run the stops and then do that. So I think you got to be prepared for that. Okay, because that's what it seems like it likes to do. So just I would almost be expecting it. It doesn't have to, though. It could just make a smaller wave, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can make 5 up, and then we can make a bigger pullback. A small pullback, and then bam, we're out. So it can do that. So right there at that moment, it's going to decide, are we going to do that? And then are we going to do that? So which path is it? Which one? I don't know. I wish I didn't. I wish I knew, because we'd be making a lot of money, but we don't know, and that's what's going to get traders all jammed up in the middle area, and which is why we don't trade it. We have to wait for a clear setup. What'd be better is to wait for a 5 and then buy this pullback. That would be the ideal setup. But sometimes the market doesn't give us that, and sometimes you just got to stick your neck out and buy it if you want to gamble. But that's what I think is going to happen. So I think we're going to swing higher. It's got to stay above this low, though. If not, it'll take another leg lower. And that actually will help us, which is why being on the sidelines is good, because if it does decide to take another leg lower, then we have a setup to buy it at 524. And that would be telling all my members we have a box and a 3-wave pullback, which is why we don't trade the middle area. So because it could still do that. There's no guarantee that may not happen. But I just telling you what I think is going to happen. This is the middle area, and we don't like to trade the middle area. But so far, that's what I'm seeing develop. Okay. Now SPHW, same phenomena. Look, what did it do? It ran the stops. See, it's the same thing, guys. We're seeing this more and more now, right? We're seeing this more and more. Normally, right, we would normally do something like this, I think, and say, okay, go into 181. It didn't make it. Oh no, it didn't make it. It didn't make it. Erase divergence. Look at that. Erase divergence. It double corrected. 1, 2, 3. Those market makers, they really they're really nasty, guys. Especially a small stock like this, they can manipulate it at will, and that's all they did. So you guys are going to have to be flexible. And I'm not there every minute watching these things. You're going to have to watch this stuff on your own. So the minute you see that and you see that kind of reaction, you just go long, because that's the game. That was what's playing. So of course that's the low, guy. I mean, that's the low, right? That's exactly what they're doing here. So that's the low. So now you're getting the move. So that's it. It's that simple. Yeah, and that low has to hold now, 236. And it's not fair they do that. It's so unfair, right? How dare they do that to us? But this is, the market is always evolving, and people are trying to some people have an edge, and some people try to beat that edge, and so you have to adapt as this market. So I am seeing more of this kind of thing. This phenomena is coming out the last 6 to 12 more than I've ever seen. 2022, you never saw this type of thing. You saw a lot of expanded flats, but you didn't see that. This is very different type of. So you got to be really careful. And we also saw this October 22 in the indices at the index level. They did the same thing, remember? So that I would say that at the index we did see that, and that was they probably loved that, and they're like, hey, that's a great. Let's try that again. That worked. Because it fooled a lot of people, right? It fooled a lot of people, expected more downside because it didn't extend. So we gotta. When we see that, and you go and you look at the divergence and it erases, and then you get a reaction like that, like a big V reaction, you just, okay, you just got to go long. You may not get the bottom, but then you can play that, and you just have to fight it. I call fighting it, if you want to be in on that trade. GoPro could be at the final leg lower. I think it's going to make another leg lower. Now that you have a 3-wave move, you can project a box. 156, 134. Something like that. So that one's pretty simple. If we can make a 5th wave, then of course the low is in. But I think it's going to make another swing down. DEFT, same thing. It came up 3 waves down. We made 5 down. And now it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're pulling back in 2. 2 could still go back down to 211, 210, but it looks like it's starting its next cycle higher. Okay, pretty straightforward. These are very straightforward charts. They're not really complicated. BTUs, 4s and 5s ahead. Well, we thought that before, but it's extending, and this is why you cannot time the market in top tick of a bull market. Because remember, BTU, you have to always ask yourself, what larger cycle are we in? Well, BTU is in a 3 of 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's in a 3 of 3 of the grand super cycle. Why would we ever try to time the market on that wave, the 3 of 3 wave? It would make no sense. You buy low, and you just hold on and enjoy the gains until you get a big volatility event, or you see a longer consolidate, and then okay, that's my first 4. So my point is, while I'm showing this cycle coming to an end, it can easily erase divergence and keep extending. It does not have to do what I'm showing, and it already has done that to some extent. So 4s and 5s, yes, they're coming. The next area of resistance, I think, is 42. So I think 42 is your next stop. And then that may be a chance for a cycle top. But there would be another one if it were to happen. And then you'll get to maybe back down to 34, 32. So probably just lose this bit. and then you have your years of gain bull market. I don't recommend selling it. It's clearly breaking out on the grand super cycle, but you guys got to do what's best for you. You hear what I'm saying. All right. QURE should be making a 5 here and then topping out based on the count I have. If we look at it, we only have 3 up. So remember, there's no guarantee for 4 and 5. I always say that, no guarantee. So once you make 3, it can come all the way back down. The pump could be over. So unfortunately, we don't know. Now, we would like to take out 82, but if it can't do that, let's say it ends in 3, it's just going to be a big 1, 2, and then a spectacular collapse. So it's tough to make a trading decision here. Down here was a lot easier, but up here it's harder. So I think you just have to let this play out and see what it morphs into. If it morphs into 5, that's good. We want that 5 to take out the all-time high, and then you have a new bull market in this for several more years at least. Okay, so let's just let it play out, but this is what my forecast. UAVS is a drone theme stock that I think is unknown to traders until tonight, until maybe you guys watching, and I think it's about to go. Okay, I think it's little box just fell short. I don't remember if I gave that to you or whoever. It was on when I pulled it up. I had already looked at it, so it was already here. So somebody must have asked me about it. But if drones is now a hot theme, no one knows about this yet. So I'm not sure. Let me just confirm it's drones and not helicopters, because we're also seeing air aviation taxis. Yeah, drones, manufacturer drones. So it's drones. People like drones. There's going to be drone ETFs and all this stuff. If there isn't already, and that's where so it's breaking out. All right, easy. And then the next one is NVX. Here's my chart. Same thing. Now here it looks like an expanded flat connector. A, B, and I think that's too shallow. I think it continues higher. I think that's your danger area for it to end. So I'm just showing you an idea of where I think it could go. But I think ultimately it comes back up here. And then since you made the lower low, it's likely to just go back down into the abyss. GGAL also made this nasty flat. It looks like the flat is done and it's ready to reverse. These flats try to test traders' conviction, and they're trying to get you out of any kind of leverage positions you may have on it. As long as that low holds, this one too. And we see my members see all the time charts that come here and they just miss the low and then they moon. We see this all the time. So this happens, but as long as that low holds, the chart's valid. So I would just go with this chart. It's still in a box, but if that low breaks, then it's going to create another cycle lower, right? Then of course you're going to have a W, X, and then this would be A, B, and we would probably come down to 1750. So if this low breaks, I think 1750, sub $20 is your next target, but still in the box, but just going to go lower in the box. Okay, on the next questions on J&J. Now J&J is doing really, really well, and I think long-term outlook looks good. Before I get that, there was a super chat question, so I'll get to that and then I'll get to J&J. I read that quantum AI stocks are in a bubble much bigger than subprime. Any indications of an upcoming major correction in that sector? We can look at qubits. Qubits has not topped yet. Not yet, but it's close. In the semiconductor, SMH doesn't look like it's hit its target area. Neither has NVIDIA. So based on that, the bubble continues. Now, could there be a pullback this week? Sure. There could be NVIDIA could still do a flat. It's not out of the woods yet. It could do a flat. But it has to start, like I said, Bear's got to step up tomorrow, start doing something. If not, those targets aren't met. And when I look at the three big drivers, qubits, NVIDIA, SMH, none of those targets look like they've been reached yet. Okay, so to me, bubble, the mania continues. The party continues. J&J, I I'm being conservative here. I think off this low, we're finishing 5 and we make another series of 4s and 5s. And then a bigger cycle, we likely will come back and back test the breakout. That's usually technically what we see. Typically is after a big breakout, a comeback and back test at 167. If we get that, that would be a great opportunity for long-term investors to buy that if we get something like this. So that's what I'm hoping for in a 1-2-1-2. But there's never a guarantee. It could just keep going. I think the question is long-term. Now that we have a breakout, J&J, I have it as a 1-2-1-2. And so the target area for me on J&J would be somewhere around, looking for like 340, 350 bucks. Then I would be more worried about a top. So plenty of gains ahead. How fast does it take to get there? I can't tell you that, but it'll probably get there. And on the quarterly, as you can see, the peak RSI is back in 1999. Well within, so either you believe this whole thing is wave 5, which is ridiculous. If it is, that what, J&J is going back down to $12? No. Or we haven't seen wave 3 yet, which is why I have it labeled this bullish way. So that's why it's bullish. We're going to see wave 3 emerge. That RSI will take out the 99 RSI somewhere up here. And then everyone will be talking about it. And we have been following it. It was a tricky structure, but now we have a clear path, right? So at some point, you got to buy the dip. You got to buy the dip. Hopefully, you get a pullback if you haven't been on it. GDXU. So GDXU is probably going to be topping out soon. I tried to draw what I think is going to happen. I could be off by a swing. We may top one more swing higher, but I think I've got it somewhere like this. Now, there's a couple things you need to know about this for people that follow me or new, or maybe you don't even know, but I hope you know if you're buying it. When this cycle peaks, whenever it is, which the 4s and 5s are coming, we're on the doorstep of, this is a conservative view, which I think is still the path. That day will be heavy selling, right? Because if the GDX for some reason drops significantly, right, and it goes, let's say you get a 35% drop at the top. Let's say it blows off tops and then reverses 35% off that top. This fund isn't going to open the next day. You're going to lose all your money. Hope you understand that. This one has a higher risk of that than other triple bear ETFs because the GDX is a volatile ETF. I don't think I've ever seen it move 30% in one day, but I think it can move 15, 20%. So that would mean this could take a 60% haircut in one day, right? It's triple levered. So you better be really careful. You better be cool. If you're holding for these 4s and 5s, you better be cool with a 60% haircut, 45% haircut. That's that is possible. So you better understand that trading this. And if you don't, you shouldn't trade it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you definitely shouldn't be trading it. And that's something you need to be aware of. We do have a lower low on this, which means the structure of this is suspect, which means this low could be breached in the future. Right? I'm showing a more of a bullish advance in C, but that may not happen. This is not a buy and hold. I mean, personally, I'm not giving you financial advice. If I was in it and I bought the box, again, we had the box on my channel almost since I started my doing this. Finally came out explosive. If I was here and I made all that money, basically a 10 bagger, I would be selling it and just rolling it into the regular ETF because I don't want to wake up, one, and lose all my money, and two, lose 60% or 50%. But that's just me. I manage risk. So consider yourself lucky you got this. Could your luck at the craps table continue? Can the dice keep rolling and you keep, winning before you crap out? Sure, it could keep doing that. But I'm telling you, the higher it goes, the more likely you're going to have a catastrophe when it reverses at some point. It's just what's going to happen. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here about the financial risk that this has at this point. Here, not so much risk because of where we were, but now here, I think it has a more risk. And if we go any higher, it's going to be like a stretched rubber band. And you could see a big reversal. And like I said, it's got a lower low. So what if you wake up and it's gone? The GDX is down 35%. It topped at, whatever it's trading at. And it, okay, dropped 35%, no big deal, flash crash. Well, guess what? This fund's done. It's closed. Goodbye, your money's gone. Not going to be able to trade it. Go look at the XIV. Go and study what happened to those guys. There was guys that had $3 million that lost all that overnight in XIV, and they lost it all. Like lost it all because they were stupid. They put everything they owned in it because it was such an easy trade. But the higher it goes, the more likely of that, and that's what happened with XIV. It never retracted. It just kept going up. So it's like a rubber. So the higher these triple levers go uncorrected like this, it's the more dangerous they are. More financial. You're taking a lot of risk. So I'm just telling you, you're taking a lot of risk holding this. But you guys do what you want to do with it. But this is the chart here, and we'll see what happens. And that's all I want to say on the GDXU. I don't want to be responsible. If we wake up and this thing collapses, I'm not going to be responsible for that. All right, IRBT. IRBT. Let's take a look at what's going on here. iRobot. Did our chart get all messed up? Yeah, but that's November 24 trading. Let's take a look. Yeah, we don't even have a chart on that. Okay. I think we got to do a chart on this one. So let's take a look. iRobot made a lower low. Once you see that, to me, that's like the death knell. Anytime I see a lower low, I throw the chart away. I mean, honestly, guys, I just throw the chart away. But I know traders love to trade that, so I'm going to do this. So we have 3 down and a connector. Okay, let's take a look at the RSI. There, and then you continued lower, no divergence there. It looks like you have a small, so yeah, it looks like you've got a WXY, a 3-wave move down off of a shallow connector here. So you have something like and maybe you could talk yourself into that being 5 waves, maybe. Yeah, I guess you could. All right, so you talk yourself into that being 5 waves. So let's see. Let's take a look at this wave. AB. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here. So the bull case. I mean, I guess technically there is a bull case as long as you don't break that low. Because if you do, then the corrective structure, it's an impulsive structure down. So as long as you're above this low, it could I guess a bull market could be born. Let's look at the shorter cycle a little bit. Now maybe your 3s, a 4 and a 5. Yeah, maybe you've got something, something's trying to develop here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So it looks like you've got a little bit of an impulse trying to come off this low. And that looks like 5 waves. Let's take a look here. And that's 5. So you're in this kind of connector. It may be from this peak here. So I think this is tricky, this area. I think looking at it on the daily cycle, seeing the divergence erased. Let's go back to the 4-hour. 1, 2. Yeah, looking at the subdivisions of that wave, it's 3. So it looks like it's another one of these, run your stop WXY corrections. So it looks like that's the correction. And then you have a new breakout, and you have a higher high here. So yeah, this looks like it should continue higher.
So yeah, I would just trade this like bull in a bull market, trade it like a bullish advance, and see what it can transform into. MPW has been doing really well and we're continuing higher. I think we have another 1-2 here. I think it's in some kind of flat off of off of this peak. It's hard to see it, but I think it's in a flat top here. But I don't think it's a 3 and a 4. I think it's another 1 and 2 going higher. Beyond Me is doing I think an expanded flat connector. So we have 3 and 4, but you see only have 3 waves. It hit this and bounced. If you can take out 301, we're gonna make a bigger correct. It's gonna end the cycle, but it's only in 3, so it's gonna just make a expanded flat connector. But if it comes back down, that's really the ideal setup, because then you can see a clear 5 waves. If it can come back down, then you can finish and you have a perfect technical setup for a long trade. But here it's not. If it rallies any sooner, you only have 3 waves down. You only have 3 waves up here. So it's either still in 4, but then you would be correcting this whole cycle. So you really couldn't call that 4. So you would have to call that, my guess, just looking at it, we'd have to look at this and maybe make it like another 1-2, like 1-2, 1-2, 1. We would have to label this as let's take a look here one more time. Yeah, 5. So we need 5 down. Only 3. I think it's too deep to be a connector from here. So because that would only be 3 down here. So yeah, I think it would we'd have to change this count and just make this 1, 2. But it wouldn't. I don't want to trade that. But it could develop into a 1, 2, and then go lower another 3, 4, 5. So we really want to see it drop again. One more low. Charge point, I think, is in this pattern. Again, 3 down, lower low. Lower low's the death kneel. So yeah, it's going to rally and see. It's going to get everyone trapped. And then it's going to rug pull you later. So I think, I think it's still going to go higher. It's just, maybe you could try to target, somewhere around, maybe $40 at some point. But then there's going to be a massive rug pull that comes more than likely with this. Zone is in the box. Zone looks pretty good to buy here if you're interested. I don't really need to say much about it. You have 5 waves up. You're right between the 4 and the 2, the sweet spot. You're in a box. You're kind of trying to come out of it. It looks like you've already ended the cycle. So it looks pretty good. BCRX. Let's take a look at that. Let's see here. BCRX is in the middle area. It's in a very congested area. ABCW, ABC, and then an ABC. So I think it's got one more leg down, and then it possibly can bottom and turn. So that's obviously these charts. These are just, I throw them away. I don't trade stuff like this. Because look, it's in the middle of the middle area. Like you're in an X, in a B, I'm in a B wave. I just don't trade that. I just don't. It's because it could morph into so many different counts. It's just so wild. But I think looking at it, when I studied it, it looks like it wants to go lower. HLX looks like it's got one more leg lower. The finish Y. You have ABC, WX, 5 down, AB, one more leg down. MP, the question is, where is a good place to buy it? The target, the box that we're waiting for is 61.94, 61.81. So right around there. It could go deeper. You see that trend line. There's a possibility it can wick through and tag that trend line. So it could go as deep as 52. But this is the box you're targeting. You're trying to play as 4 and get that 5. If we come back and take out the top of B at 77 here, then the setups negate it, and we'll have to look for a new setup. All right. Alts. Alts is in a box. It just went a little deeper. My thoughts, well, when I see something like that, I like to go back and look at the divergence. You see I'll erase divergence again. And here. So it's still fine. And also it looks even better because it's in the sweet spot between the 4 and the 2 perfectly. So it's even better. It looks even better. SENS. Before I get there, I'm trying to looking at our comments. I want to make sure I didn't skip over anybody's. Just hopefully they may skip over anybody's. All right, well, let's keep going. Hive, I've already answered. The price targets for Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Solana at this cycle. Well, the problem is we'll never know that. And that's why on our channel, we never worry about what we can make. We worry about what we can lose. Because what we can make is beyond anything we know. Like, did the people back here that bought Litecoin at $5 know it was about to go to $423? They had no clue. We could see 5,000. We could see 10,000. Like as much as my imagination can contemplate. So we don't worry too much about what it can make. If you really want to, my thoughts on it, I mean, when I look at this big cycle, I see a 1-2-1-2 in Litecoin, and I see a big breakout, right, and an extension. So that should produce some explosive gains, somewhere around here. And then you need some 4s and 5s. So that's why I have my target at 800, 800, 920. So that's my target. Okay, that's the target. We'll see if it gets there one day. I've had this target on for ever since I've started. So my 22. Bitcoin Cash, the same thing. I think it's safe to assume, if you look back in this pump, 21, it made it to 16.15. My guess is this time it breaks out of that, and then it will test the all-time highs. So my guess is the target's going to be all-time highs and then a rejection, just like you got here. So probably somewhere around there. And then Solana. Solana target is, I used to have it on here, but I think it's like $600 is my target on Solana. Let me see, but it may have changed with the recent price action. Yeah, maybe 560, 560, 600. Okay, I hope that helps. But again, these targets could go much higher, right? The people that bought, down and they didn't know. Like it can go because what you are buying in crypto is a wave 3 of some sort, in some cases 3s of 3s. On the altcoins, remember, alt season would be a 3 on the grand super cycle. If alt season breaks out, it will be stronger than any alt season you've ever seen and experienced, because by definition, that's what wave 3s are. Because the alt season wave 1 peaked 2017-18, and we've essentially corrected, and we haven't had like a really strong one. So we haven't, when wave 3 of a real alt season emerges, which is what we're seeing little signs of that starting. If that ever happens, I think traders will leave the market too soon. I think many will leave, and then the targets that will be reached will be much higher than they think. And that's, I think, the risk actually of what's going to happen. So I think you got to be careful with these targets, and that's why we never give targets to my elite members. We say, I tell you guys, here's the reaction, and then how I give you, like, if you're a long-term investor, here's how I would hold that. But then you decide yourself where you want to sell it, because these targets can go crazy high. And I do think crypto, the altcoins, especially the 2017 coins, show Elliott wave patterns in waves 3s of 3s on the grand super cycle. By definition, the move out of 118 will be more violent than this move. How can you be more violent than that? Well, it will be, because by definition, it's a higher degree wave 3. It has to be. It can't be weaker than that, because that's 1-2. It's not 3-4. It's 1-2. So that's why, you know, if traders only knew Elliott wave theory, they would understand the opportunity here, right? That could be here, because if that's the count, I mean, people would be buying. You would be buying this now, because look, because when it comes out, it's going to be in a 3, and it's going to be in a 3 of a higher degree than that 3 was. So it's going to be by definition even more crazy. It has to be. That's how it works. That's how it goes. That's how it works. That's how the Elliott wave cycles work. So that's where we are in these 3 coins, and there's many more like that. And we'll have to just see what the market wants to do. Now, it could meander. It may meander. What if it meanders around for another cycle? It could do that. So I'm just saying. But at some point, the cycle will break out. It will. At some point, the sellers won't have anything left to sell in Litecoin. It has been a money tree for the early adopters. It has been. But at some point, they're going to run out of coins to sell, and then the market will mark it up. Price will get marked up. That's what's going to happen. Okay. Palladium and platinum. My thing is palladium. Palladium would be where you want to go, because it's not pumped yet, right? Platinum's pumped. Platinum's pumped, right? I mean, platinum, of course, you know, platinum, if I look at it, all-time highs is 2,300. This is our count in platinum. Okay, maybe we can get to 4,000, 5,000. So 1,600 to 4,000. And then you have palladium way down here at 1,000. All-time highs is 3,500, 6,000. So you have 1,000 to 6,000, or you have 1,600 to 4 or 5. I would take palladium. So I think palladium offers the more upside potential, right? Just my opinion. All right, to answer your question, which one's more bullish? Platinum's been more bullish, right? Because it's almost at its all-time high. So palladium has more upside potential to catch up, but platinum obviously is more bullish because it's closer to the all-time, like it's further along. So it's got more momentum right now. So do with that with whatever you want to. ARQQ, we can take a look at that. It's a quantum stock that hasn't pumped yet. Yeah, the quantum cycle, you know, will come to an end like everything. An end in tears, like it always does. But where are we with this thing? We're still trying to show higher, right? So it's just been, again, real erratic. We can try to label the wave like we can. Looks like you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So put a C there, X there. Let's see here where it's going. What do we have going on here? Put 2 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. So no double correction. We made the higher high. So yeah, it's it looks like. Let me go back and look at it. Yeah, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 5. And then a higher high here. So yeah, I think it's going to break out. I think your suspicions are right. I think it's going to break out. It could be 1, 2, could be this. It could be just consolidating for a bigger, ready for a gap up. So I think we'll just leave it unlabeled. But I think this is the count now. So it's obviously, you know, develop it into the wave we had here. It just developed in a slightly different way, but it looks like, you know, it looks like it's ready to roll. Bull is another one that we're watching. We're not sure how it's going to develop off this low, but we're looking for 3 waves. And I think it's ready to push higher, but we could double correct here. So if we double correct, you have an opportunity to buy it at 13. So I think that's pretty deep. So it may have already finished and we're looking for another push higher at least, or it can turn into an impulse and a new bull market. And then we have open. All right, so let's see where we're at with the comments. Shot Shot's been doing really well. We've pretty much traded that perfectly. Mentioned that it'd make that other low and then it'd react, and then we saw the 1-2-1-2, and so Shot, these lows are your trading, you trade off of, and we should, if we want to see a 5, once we see that, then we know it's in a new cycle higher, and then it will eventually continue in a new cycle higher. So look for that. So maybe some resistance here, and then another breakout, another big move. PRTS. Carparts.com, never heard of them. All right. Real ugly looking chart. Another go to zeros. All these go to zeros. I hate trading these go to zeros. As you can see tonight, we probably talked about 10 other charts that are much clearer, but I'll do my best with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see where the RSI lines us up at. So that looks like a WXY, and that's your first connector. Let's see here. Or maybe we'll do 5, an ABC. Yeah, we'll have to do an ABC. So we're going to do this as our count. See, RSI helps us label these waves a little bit, so we kind of get an idea where we are. And then I wonder if that low held. If it didn't hold, then we have problems with the chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the lows held so far. I mean, barely divergence. I mean, I could force the 5 waves if I want to. I could make it. I can make it anything I want. Honestly, looking at this wave, it's really ugly. But basically, you really need it to hold this low. And if it can't do that, then it's just going to take another leg lower. And I mean, I wouldn't trade this. I think for me, you have to hope that low doesn't break, and talk yourself into this being some kind of bigger corrective move. You'd have to hope that's what develops here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I mean, really, really ugly chart. See, that may be finished. It may be, yeah, I think that's what it's going to do. I think it's ready for the next leg lower. Bam, 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 bam. Reverse split hell. That's what I think it's going to do. That's what I think it's going to do. And I think that little bounce just corrected this leg. And now you have a whole nother leg lower. Okay, EONR. Let's take a look. Eon resources. Well, that one was good. It looks like it almost hit our target and just pretty much went vertical like we expected out of the wedge. So yeah, we want to just hold. There's really nothing to talk about. Just hold, right? I'm sure you're probably the one that asked about it. So maybe we have 5 here. We can get a bigger pullback to 39 cents. As another pot. So maybe you'll get something like this, but I would just hold it. This can easily be another one too. It just keeps pumping. So it's clearly in a new cycle higher. This is just getting started. All right, let's take a look here. All right, Riot. So some of these other coins like Riot and stuff, it's really tough because it's showing 5 waves, but we all know that the market can extend, and if crypto's finding a major low where it's about to break out, Riot, these are all going to break out. So Riot's showing 5 up though. So Riot's showing 5 up from this low from April. It could pull back, but we don't top call it. Not on this channel. We will never top call it. Now I can draw this for you. It's clearly, I don't recommend selling it. It can easily erase divergence and keep going higher, but I will show this chart and we watch it closely. Serve is another one. It hit a box. Our elite members caught this. I've been showing this to elite members and pretty much went vertical. Big 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 setup. Really set up for potentially an explosive move out. And we got that buy, and it's pretty much, you see the chart right in front of you. It was the same thing. Gave that to elite members. It broke out. Many members are up, 50, 60%, or some even more. And we broke out here, put the alert out, vertical. Now we're making a fifth wave. So if you, again, after you make 5, we could pull back again and then have an even bigger move. I wouldn't be surprised to see it erase divergence and just head right to $6 and this become another 1-2. I think Vuzi's a straightforward. MPW already covered. SOLT is obviously Solana's in the next cycle higher, so that one found its low and it's turning up off of the low like we had here, and we should be heading higher from here. Looking at this chart, looks like you have a 3, a 4, and a 5 here, and then we can kind of label this as a 1 and a 2. Maybe we're done 5. Yeah, so probably done 5. Looking for a bigger pullback, but if the market's going to go into bull mode, the pullbacks will be very small and we'll just continue higher. So, but I would be worried for another pullback here, so keep an eye on that. And you see that if that's a connector, it could set up a dip buy opportunity. Could set up a dip buy opportunity right around 27.05, 26.58. So perhaps you can catch that wave 3 there if that were to happen tomorrow. And then MSOS is looking like it's finished its pullback. I think that was the last time we looked at it. Yeah, so we have 5 off the low. So we have to call the 2 in. Again, it kind of truncated. Didn't quite get to the target area. And then we made 5 up here, and now we're pulling back in 2. We could see it drop to 468. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. And then we're looking for the bigger breakout. I think it's inevitable it's going to have the bigger breakout. Why I was telling people not to try to time the market here, not to try to do anything stupid and short it. Our elite members, we literally followed it the day it reversed and we saw the cycle end. We were like, hey, this is the time to buy it against, $2. And those traders on my group that are out there, I've been telling them, do not trade in and out of it. If you have a position down here, you got to just hold it. Light the market, and I hope they listen to my wisdom. So that's kind of where we're heading. I think it's clearer now. The path is higher on that. Until Ray showed us that a little bit, that's where it wants to go because it kind of trade. They trade together. CSIQ. Canadian solar, solar's starting to get a bid. The TAN's been doing well, and let's take a look. Solar made a low, major low, cycle low. I mean, it looks to me like a big, I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna have to label that in 3 waves. Again, the first part of this this wave, we'll just have to label it in 3 waves. There's no other account that works. And then this would be 3 down. Right. So now what you're hoping for is a whole nother cycle like that, higher. And so my guess is that's where we're going. So we need to start to trace the waves. So it looks like you have 5 up here. Let me go to the 4-hour though. Yeah, this is only moving in 3. So again, because it's moving in 3 waves, we'll have to just move in 3 waves, even on the way up. Sometimes we do this, so we'll just have to move in 3s. And this is probably some kind of A, something like that. And then we'll get, another pullback in WXY. and then it should make another wave higher. So you see, you get the idea. So it's moving in threes. Yeah, and I wonder if the Y is over. I don't see the peak exceeding it. Yeah, not yet. So I think we're in. I think B is. I think we're in C, but C is still continuing. So maybe we're right around here. Yeah, something like that. So I think you'll see more upside. That's likely another 1-2. But at some point it should end and then have a bigger pullback. But I think as long as you're above that 671, it could continue to grind higher and a big WXY just like you saw earlier on it. KBH, I think KBH, we wanted to see another high, and we're starting to get there. So 1, 2, probably something like that. That's a pretty big drop, but it's still within the cycle. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, so so one more high in 5, and then a pullback. I would buy this in 3 waves. It looks like it should still continue higher. Again, a lot of traders are confused why housing would still go up, but remember, in inflation, housing prices will is somewhat of a hedge against inflation, as well as lower interest rates if we are going to get a mini little reprieve in interest rates for a while before that big move higher that I think will be coming toward the end of the decade. Maybe this will allow the home builders to top out a little bit as people panic buy houses for one last time before they get too expensive and rates get too high later this decade. Okay, IRT, REIT, IRT. Let's take a look. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, so that's like a classic impulse off this low. No divergence. So I personally think the REITs bottomed here. Now, if I was worried of a double correction in that sector, but with the Russell moving higher, I just can't see that happening. So I suspect, and that looks like 5 waves up off the low. Let's see here. Yeah. So yeah, it's coming off this low. This looks like 5 up here. Now it's pulling back. So the question is, where can we buy this? That'd be your connector right there. Maybe 1485. Maybe it can go down a little bit more. So here's a box. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, see, it's about to just drop a little bit more. So I think it's got a little more downside. But whenever this cycle ends, the correction's over, and then it's gonna should really have a good breakout. Okay, I suspect that's what's gonna happen. The only other bear setup is we put W here and make this an ABC, and then it does double correct, and that box would end up being somewhere around 832. So I'll draw that box. That counts valid. It's not likely given the market backdrop at the moment that I'm seeing. But whatever, whether it's this box or this box, the futures will be okay. It's just how do we get there? I think this is the path we go, like I'm showing here. And but I can't completely negate the more bearish view in a WXY. But that to me would mean, I think, small caps really need, and the Russell and the IYR really need to get hit now. And it's just, I don't see it happening yet, that kind of sell-off. Like, we would need a sell-off like you saw in 2022. We need an inflation scare where the Fed's coming out and we're going to be raising rates or something. You know, we need that to get down to here. So I don't see it. So that's why I see the more bullish path. GGAL. Let's take a look. It's in the box. I think I covered this already. So a 1, a 2, and 1, 2. Ready to come out of this. It tried to run this and it wasn't able to do that, so it held. So it looks like it's ready to go. If we break these lows, I think it could head deeper into the box for around $20 or even 18. But right now it looks okay. So we'll have to just let this play out. You need to be, I guess, be patient with it. AIRO, another drone play. Yeah, it's not a lot of chart data. And one, is that even a valid price? Like, do I even consider that? And so if I consider that, we would call that 1, and we would call this like a wave 2. So I guess we could try to, we'll consider it. Yeah, I mean, there. It's got to hold that low at 1817. So for me, that's the important pivot, that it's got to hold. If it breaks that, the setup's lost. So if we look, very 3-wave looking chart with no divergence. It's going to probably break it. So my guess is, this one's probably going lower. 1, 2, 3, a connector. 1, 2, one more, probably one more leg lower. I bet it goes one more leg lower, is what I suspect. Maybe we can put a box on it. We'll put a box on it. What the hell? Right around 1481. Right here. I think it makes one more leg lower down into this box, and then maybe you can get a bigger reaction, and we'll see what happens to it. It goes down something like that. Okay, Cleveland Cliffs is ready to roll, but I think it's got a pullback coming, at least a small pullback. And it's one, again, our lead members have been following. The day we saw the reversal, again, I was mentioning just buy it down here in our box at 8. Once we saw this high taken out, we knew the cycle ended. It was time to buy. It's been the right call. We had another dip buy here. So now we have 5. We can make one more pullback down to 1174, and that may be it. So that's what I'm looking for. Now, could it be something more bearish, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we pull back to 10? Let's take a look at the RSI. It doesn't really support that, right? It doesn't support that view. So this is the view, and I mean, maybe someone, let's take another look at it. You see, that's a whole cycle. So I think I have it labeled okay the way I have it labeled. I think someone could say, oh, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we come back down to 9. But it looks like this pullback corrected this whole leg, so I don't think that's the right count. Despite the RSI, I think it's just kind of a blow off wave 5 for that cycle, and then we faded it. So this is what we're looking for. And by the way, on the historic chart, we just broke out. Let me see if I can draw this. My line may have moved around as I've been, playing with these charts. But basically, you get the idea. I try to draw this line best I can. But basically, we're breaking out of the historic downtrend. We're breaking out of this downtrend here. Let me get rid of this one. To draw it like that. So, again, it's kind of tricky. I'm trying to draw it through most of the points. I won't spend a lot of time. So we're coming right up to it on the major trend line, and we're more than likely going to break out. When we break out, the last time we broke out as something like this, look what Cleveland Cliffs ended up doing. I mean, that's the target. Oh my God, are you serious? But I just wish it would just do that in 1 year. But that may take a long time to get there. But I do think it starts the journey higher. So I do believe we're should be continuing higher from here. Okay. Long-term investors need to be buying this on deep pullbacks if you happen to get one. It makes sense with all this stuff coming into the U.S. Build, all the building VR, AR. All right, that two's probably in, and we're about ready to break out. Looks like we're right there. 1, 2. So maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Not much to show other than that. So it looks like that was a flat here, A, B, C, and then it's reacting out of that, which is typical for a flat. They make you give up your position and test your conviction, and if you're over levered, you get blown up. All right, IWM is one more high and another pullback. As long as we're above the all-time highs, there's nothing bearish about the IWM, and our groups have been buying that. All the way since down here. We're just going to continue to hold, and these are a lot. There's a lot of gains potentially to come. So could this be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we pull back down to 235? It's possible. I can't say that's not unlikely, but this sharp move on Friday was starting to take out a lot of divergence. We almost took that one out. If we can come out a little bit higher tomorrow, that will negate the bear case. And then this is the count. And a lot of people are missing these moves because they're afraid and they're just thinking the market should go down, but it's just not. ADA coin has got another high coming. Last time I looked at that chart, thought I had one labeled. Oh, there it is. So ADA is coming out of this box. Could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, which would produce explosive gains. This looks like an A, B, C, D, E. So we'll put that there. And that looks like 1, 2. Pretty much like rest of crypto. Finishing a 2, ready for a move. I'm showing a conservative view, but this can easily be 1, 2, 1, 2. And of course, we're coming off with a major peak as another. I won't have it labeled, but another 1, 2. So if it's 5, you could pull back and come all the way back down here and then rip. So you got to understand that bigger view. You got to understand that could happen. Because that's a 3. That's a pretty high peak there on the RSI. Let's look at the weekly. Pretty high peak. It's likely that's the 3. So you may make 5 and then have a nasty pullback. Oof. And then you probably lose your position. Everyone loses their money. They give up. They're mad and angry. And then the market does that. And then you're like, what happens? So that's the chart I'm showing now. But I think you got a 5 coming. So and then you got a 3 of 5. So I think you have some money coming. Now this 2 could still push lower. We need to stay above, this 48, 49 cent area. Circle. I think we looked at that a while ago, a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. See how it's doing. Coming out of our box like we expected it to. So I think I gave you guys this box. Let's see, it turned into, looks like a flat on 2, and now we're heading higher. So we can go ahead and update the labeling on that. That looks like, again, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for another 1, 2. So we just keep pushing higher. We just keep pushing higher, and that's where we are. Something like that. Could, there's a possibility this could be a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. So not enough data. Unfortunately, not enough data. XLU, let's take a look. Making new highs. Finishing a wave 5 of the grand super cycle. big dip buy here, but yeah, obviously more upside. Look, with a higher high on that pullback, so utilities is definitely going higher, guys, and we're not surprised to hear that. And I wouldn't be surprised if divergences are raised and this becomes a 1-2 and this thing just keeps extending. So this is about to have some big moves higher. Yeah, see it, momentum's building. I bet they retake that peak out. I have a feeling we're going to take these peaks out. So there you go. Nothing bearish about that chart. Nothing bearish about that chart. I honestly think that's another 1-2, and we're going to see some more gains in this sector. Pepe, we take a look at that. Let's see here. Like I said, crypto is all about getting ready for the bigger move. All these coins are going to benefit, some to different degrees than the others. Let's see. I guess I don't have it up here. Thought I had one. Thought I had one for my, unless I got rid of it. Let's see if it, I have one labeled somewhere. Wait, oh, that's Pepsi. We'll find it. Oh, there it is, that's it. Okay. Oh, it's right. It looks like it's ready to go here. It's getting close to a big decision point. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. So if you read this chart, any second, boom, any second, it's got to hold that low at 8929, or it could unravel, and then we could double correct in 2. I'll give a target there just in case. So that bullish setup is valid, but it may it could unravel. This could become a triangle. You know, A, B, C, D, E. I'm sorry, we get that again. A, B, C, D, E. So maybe we go up a little bit and then drop. So the target would be, and I'm going to draw this box. There. So it could see 6, 7, 7, 8. So this is the bullish setup. It's valid because it looks like 5 waves and not 3 here. But if it fails for some reason, that's probably where it's going to go into, and then it will react and go higher. CRML. A lot of happy talk around this one, and looking for that 5 almost is finished, but not quite yet. So it's still got a little more upside, I think. And then just like my chart shows, it's going to do 2 paths, and I don't have any good idea which direction it's going to go. I wish I did. These are the middle areas why we don't trade that. Now it looks like, my guess is you're going to get this path and not this one. So I think we're just going to go ahead and label it bullish for now, and label it continuation. Okay. I think that's where we're going to go, because I think that sector's still got more upside. So something like that. And then you get that like breakout and we can come out. But it should find a seller, right? Look at all that resistance. It's almost certainly going to get sold off when it hits that. It just seems highly likely. Well, we don't short, we don't top tick the market on IONQ, or we don't top tick the market because those stocks can keep extending. I think people learned that the hard way with qubits. They tried to short it and then they got blown up. And you can't predict the mania. The mania can go on. So the only way to short those is you have to wait for a lower low to develop. So I will, since you're asking, I will show you like how it would have to look for me to short it. We don't top tick the market. And I know a lot of traders hate that. They hate they hate because they want a top tick. They want it so bad. And see, this is ready to extend. Look at this setup. The minute we break this, it's going to do a qubits again, right? So we don't top tick. We don't short. Now, when would we short this? If this low breaks. If we can come down, if we could come down and break this low like that, break that low, and then we can start to short the rallies against this high. Right, but then when do we stop shorting? Well, when it hits the box, and the box would be, not too far away, 57. So you're not talking a big opportunity. So we wouldn't even short that. We would buy that, right? So the problem is there's not a clear setup because these are all in uptrends. But at some point that uptrend will end, and then they will represent shorts. But we just can't we don't want to top tick it. We just don't want to. I mean, ask the traders who did that, on all they just keep going. And if you sold it here, look at what's about to happen. It looks like to me this Y wants to extend another leg. That's what it looks like it's going to happen. And then that gets you to $100. So guys, you got to understand my system. We don't never call the top, right? We never top tick, and we trade between 30-yard lines. Some people like that. Some people hate that. Some people think, of me as a failure as a trader because of that. But actually, that's risk management. It's just good risk management. That's all it is. It's about preserving capital and not taking unnecessary chances. I think short in here, while you could you try to short and put, and say, okay, if it breaks 77, get out. You could try that. There's nothing, but that would be, to me, just kind of a 50-50 trade. Right, there's no, if anything, all the surprises have been higher in these sectors. And looking at qubits needing more upside, it's probably going to follow the tailwinds of that. So I think the best bet with IONQ is to wait. At some point, you'll get a better opportunity to short it. What I like to see, let's say we see something like this. I'm going to just kind of give you a hypothetical. Let's say we come up, boom, we hit 100. And then all of a sudden, a huge sell-off emerges, a flash crash. Dang, down, $84. Okay, what are we going to do? Oh my God. Then you get a relief rally, but it's a real pathetic bounce, right? But it ends this cycle. Then all of a sudden, we come back and we break that low. Okay, we break that low. Well, now all of a sudden, the short target is all the way down here, 68, 64. Now, any bounce, you can short that. And we would. In our group, we would start to short that. We would short that bounce, in 3 waves. And then if it came down, and we would short 3 waves. And we just keep doing that all the way down into this box, and then we'd cover. So that's how you have to, that's our system for shorting. Again, we didn't call the top. We just waited for the market to tell us that it was over. Right? And that's how these are going to end. They're going to end just like I'm showing you here. That's how we know. This and this kind of recovery, that's telling me it's probably the pump continues. If we had a shallower high, it would be like, okay, if we only got that, and then we could come back down and break that low, well then now you have a short setup, a lower low. But we don't have it. We don't have it yet. I would be not ready to do that. I don't recommend it. We can look at what's Rigetti, RGTI. Let's take a look. I don't know if that chart's updated that I have of it. Let's see here. Yeah, see, it's just extended. It never double corrected. It made another extension, right? We were looking for a double correction. It never happened. That's what I'm saying. The surprises in these things have been going higher than people imagine, right? So we had 5 up, and then we just made another cycle higher. And it's even higher than that. So it's just a sign of the times when we're in this mania phase of the market. A, B, C, D, no, yeah, probably just this. And looking at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this probably is something like that. That one's going to be super hard to target that short. But again, once it ends and we get a big flash crash, because that's how these bubbles will end, big flash crash down, then wait for the counter trend rally, then wait for the confirmation of the lower low, and then you can short at will, and then you can short, and then maybe you could short all the way back down. But I think you have to wait for something like that to develop to short it. I don't like to just guess, and imagine guessing if you guessed here or even here. We've been losing a lot of money, and again, this mania can just continue, could just keep going. That's what's so crazy about it. Okay, BBAR. Another international stock. Looks like we kept pushing higher here. Looks like we extended, more than likely extended the wave. Yeah, look at that at the peak. So this is, we'll just get rid of that. So this is obviously a 1-2. So it's probably almost at the low. It's probably just like all the other Argentinian stocks. They're pretty much at lows across the board. It's in the box. So it's a buy. So it's in a box. It's a buy. Just like the other stocks we were looking at. And it should continue higher. 1, 2, 1, 2. So, same like all these Argentinian ones are all in boxes. LPSN. Let's take a look. Okay, we are almost there. Did we break? So once we break that low, the cycle technically can end at any moment. So hopefully you're going to get a reaction soon. So that's what you're hoping for. So I'll be praying for you. I hope. The Fibonacci target is a little lower. It's at 41.9. You're almost certain to get a reaction there. So, but I mean, timing it. I'm not. Even though I do a good job, I'm not that good. But it's almost there. It's there. It could be tomorrow. Maybe it wants to hit that Fibonacci target and rally, but it's at the final moments here. Capitulation. Even you feel capitulation. Your comment reminds me of the MSOS investors back when it hit $2. They were ready to basically, jump off buildings. But that's a sign of capitulation. That's a sign you're almost at despair, full despair. So obviously other investors feel the same way. So you're almost there, I think. Almost there. It's real tough, though, to time it exactly. All right, next, last comment here. LAES. Got that A, got that B. And now we're looking for C to tag this area. And I think you're going to get rejected there. And it looks like probably a 1-2, 1-2. So probably got a big move coming higher. And then we'll see what happens here. Now your question is, what indicators on RSI and stochastics? So what you'll want to see is no divergence in this Y. So on the higher time frame, so the D, probably the daily and the weekly. So the daily, you see how you have this divergence here? You need to erase that, and it's probably going to do that. When we finish Y, it needs to be at the peak. It needs to be like something like that. That's when you know Y is done. Now, if you make a peak like that, and then you pull back and make a higher high with bearish divergence, then the corrective structures negate it, and then it's going to continue higher, and it's a different count. This is telling you more upside is likely to happen. And then if you look at the daily, it's already reset and it's already wide open to the upside. So you have a whole new daily cycle born. It's going higher. Daily cycle, not, so that's good. Let's look at the weekly cycle. Weekly cycle sees it's coming to an end. So my guess is the daily cycle is going to take you to this target, and the weekly cycle will end and take you down. That's what I'm seeing in the RSI right now, based on looking at that. What's the new pullback target to buy in? You really can't buy in. You really can't buy in on this. It's a corrective structure. It's really, there's no entry unless you get a pullback here on the short time frame, on the 15-minute. You get fortunate and you get maybe you get a double. So maybe you get a pullback Monday here, and if you can get it at 415, that's a good entry to trade that, right? I'm not saying it can happen, but maybe this develops into something else. Maybe that is 3 and we get a 4. Maybe it's another 1 2. But if you do get a double, you can go long here, right? And then on the 45-minute, you want to see no divergence. But you see, it's unlikely to do that. I think it's a 1 2 1 2. It's likely to just keep extending. So I don't see an opportunity. Unfortunately, the time to buy it was back here when we were talking about it. Now it's just not, to me, it's not tradable here, unfortunately. Okay, I think I covered everything. I got everyone's super chats in. Let me look through one more last time comments. Please put in the comments if something I missed somebody's. Just kind of scanning through comments. CRML is up in the pre-market. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It should be up. Now, always remember, we can always extend. I'm showing this like 1 2, but this could always be a 1 2 1 2, right? But I'm just showing you the more conservative path. But I think it's likely to break out, right, guys? That's the thematic theme. BT also, it's showing up on some pump groups. I've heard this stock has come across my channels from pump groups that I take a look at. So this is on people are watching this for the breakout. Like we're seeing it just like they are. BT, what's up with the X post? I'm just trying to point out trade ideas, and if you're interested in that, my elite members get that insight. But I do try to post things online if I see something, because it's the only way I have to communicate to everybody. And if that piqued your curiosity, you should subscribe to me. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, just have to open our mind up. If you give up on GME, I think GME is tradable against that low, like 22, wherever it was in our pink box, and I think that's what the market makers want you to do, is give up on it. So if you're feeling like you want to give up on it, then it's probably ready to go much higher, because I bet other people feel that way. All right, so I think I got everybody's comments in. I appreciate it. You asked for RR as well. Yeah, I'll go over Elite in a minute. So RR, robot stock. We got this Y. Continuing. Let's take a look. ABC. Again, we looking at the bigger picture. You see that we don't have a lot of divergence erased. Look at the daily, so it's got more upside in Y. So we're not there yet. So we're probably in C, and we still have more upside coming. What we want to see is that come out, take out those peaks, and especially on the daily, we want to take that out, and you want to take that peak out. Until then, you just grind this thing up higher and higher. So we just assume. Now, of course, there'll be small pullbacks along the way, but I think it continues to do this move. And then, like, the benefits of elite members, I don't send out alerts or anything. I'm not like this like real-time service where I trade every minute of the day. Like, I don't do that. I'll never offer that. I'm not that type of again, provide information so everyone can make good decisions on their own trades. I'm not a real-time trading service. There's other groups and people you can follow that do that. I just show setups, boxes. I try to look at a lot of different information. I subscribe to a lot of different other services out there and stock. I watch the markets and I get alerts and I bring those to the elite members on different stocks. Like I recently brought Archer in a few days ago. We bought the box. I brought in Serve, brought the box. So I mean, I bring in these things. I brought in Zcoin way before it pumped, and then I let you guys decide, if you want how you want to buy it, and then if you have questions, the live stream's away, but you can always DM me in X. But like guys, with Zcoin, right? I brought this to our elite members here at this box. I had no idea this was going to happen, by the way. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of rumor and speculation. I won't go into it or why this is happening, but I mean, this is what I do for the elite group. I find setups that no one's paying attention to, and if I see it, I bring it to your attention, and then you can decide, do I want to buy it or not? And again, you can't buy everything. I don't personally buy. I miss boxes because I can't buy everything either. I don't only have so much money, but I bring everything I can, and I try to analyze the market, looking at all the symbols and sectors. Like here is all the groups we cover and read at least every day. I will scan through these gold, silver, copper, uranium, industrials, aerospace, materials, agriculture, staples, energy. Crypto. I would go through AI space, quantum. I try to hit all the popular stocks and anything that I see setups, tech stocks that we typically watch, meme stocks that are popular that we see emerge, healthcare, financials. We're watching solar now, cybersecurity, consumer discretionary. Only the ones that have setups that I see in China. Of course, with like our group, we picked out Baidu. We're doing well. We've been watching Neo. Like we find these boxes on Neo, like here and here. E-commerce. We track food, low PE, utilities. EOSC is another one I brought to our members' attention at 650. No box, but I gave the encouragement to just buy it here, and that's been again way beyond my expectations. We cover the housing, transports, international, and then we bring in new symbols to the group as well every day, and then we take away symbols that just aren't working, so we bring them in and out. So I'm looking at this every day. We're bringing to our members' attention boxes. Like I said, Archer showed this setup on this recent correction. We had Serve as well. Qubits was an intraday buy. We had here, which again, I did not think it was going to go this. I thought maybe you get a wave 5 here. I mean, this is insane, guys, this bubble we're in. And of course we had qubits down here. This is a stock our group has traded tremendously well. I mean, we nailed this box here, and even on our live stream, one of you guys asked me about it. I don't know who, but picked it up at $0.91. I wish I bought it here. I had no idea it was going to do. I mean, but see, who knows? Maybe tonight we analyzed a future stock like that. We won't know. In another year, we may look back and go, damn, I should have bought the box. So we just don't know. So I bring that to you guys' attention. And then most of these boxes produce reactions. And sometimes, though, the reactions can be spectacular. Zcoin, qubits. Other times they may not be. They may be, there may be just a little bit. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. And wow, 75% in 3 months. That's awesome. Great, good for you. And our trades are all risk managed, and everything is just, we do things safe. We're not a prayer group. We don't just risk all our money and pray together, and then we celebrate. As a group, and then cry together, and I ask for your forgiveness. No, we're not a prayer group, right? There's a lot of guys out there, gals, that are just prayer groups. They're just like, buy whatever is dipping and let's pray. Well, no, we have a methodology, and it works. All right, guys, good night, and thanks again. And yeah, I know I should have qubits at 5. I know I'm the one that freaking found it at 5. But even I don't trade everything perfectly too, right? Yeah, we had it here. But again, It's just the mania has gone beyond my imagination, even in this stock. But some people have held it, so good for you. You know what? Good for you. If you bought it, because I did put this alert out on X here to buy it here on that box. Many people made a lot of good money on that. But if you held it from there and you're still holding, hey man, good for you, good for you. But it's like eventually you're gonna crap out at the casino. But right now, just keep it rolling. I mean, let's keep rolling the dice. It looks like it wants $40, man. It looks like it wants $40. Maybe even higher, maybe 50. All right, guys, good night. And let's see what happens tomorrow. The bears have to come through tomorrow or the bear case is going to really start to fall apart. So they got to do something tomorrow. So some FUD or big, scary news may hit tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. All right, guys, that's it.